What's going on, everybody? About that time, Monday morning, August 6th, 10 game slate, back. Time to do what we do every other day. Look at DFS shit. Jake, how was your weekend?
The weekend was good. Nothing crazy for DFS, but didn't lose all my money. So here I am, ready to talk about the 10 games, is it? 10 games?
It
Yeah.
is 10, yeah.
I think we've got the spotlight hitters, pitchers, and stacks out this morning. Yeah, it's going to be good. So hopefully we get a good crowd in here and can have some solid MLB talk.
I tweeted this out with a Sunday date in it. Let me fix that. I'm the worst at this. I just need like one place to update everything. The problem is you have to bounce around to like 6 different things. I always forget that tweet, and that stupid advanced settings tab in YouTube is a pain in the ass. Good morning, Randy Borman. Welcome to the first person in the chat. We're a little late getting started, but let's let all the people trickle in.
Yeah.
Did I put the wrong date in the graphic too? Am I that bad on this Monday morning? No, I didn't. I'm right.
You put Monday 8-5.
Yeah, I fixed already.
Okay. All right, we're good.
I'm the absolute worst at this.
It's Monday. People will forgive.
I did too many things. I tried to wake up super early this morning to like get some stuff done around the house, and apparently the alarm that I set was only for the weekends. So I woke up at my normal time. I was like, man, it's super bright for 5 a.m. I was like, oh, that's because it's 6:30, and I'm an asshole. Alrighty. 10 games to go through. Per our little pre-live talk, I think Jake and I are going to have some very different discussions when it comes to pitching. And we're starting off with one right out of the gate. We ready for this?
Yeah.
Cardinals and Marlins. Cardinals, 4.6 run implied total. Marlins, 3.8. 59% chance to win for the Cardinals. My man, Luke Weaver, going for St. Louis. Wei In Chen, going for the Marlins. All right, so this seems to be like a regular story for me. We've got Luke Weaver projected at 22%, which is a nice, healthy amount. I think at 7,200 in this particular matchup, it makes sense. I've got 44% Luke Weaver to start this off. I've got 21% on FanDuel. Wow, we're projecting 7. I also like Wei In Chen on DK as a pay down option at 4,300. Yeah. What is it about me and Luke? Well, like, we need a manual adjustment for him because I don't think he's the 8.9K per 9 guy any longer. But I feel like I shouldn't aggressively adjust one individual person. But he's been different this year. And I don't really know how to manage it. So talk to me about Luke Weaver tonight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's where I'm at with him. Just like as a general rule, I think people overvalue him, which is fine based on what he's done. Like the start of last season in 2016, I think. So if you use data from back then, he's probably going to look really good. And he has had good starts. I don't think he's a bad pitcher. I think he's probably a better real-life pitcher, but he has these really puzzling starts in good spots, like last time against Colorado, where he's chalk. And I just always want to go against that because he's super unpredictable. He'll miss a ton of bats one game, and then he can't find the strike zone, can't miss a bat in the next one. And he can't even get strikeouts. So he got pulled at 74 pitches too last game. That's concerning in the third inning. I mean, there's a lot of holes I can poke in Weaver. It's not a great strikeout matchup against the Marlins. They've got a decent top 4. I like Real Muto, Anderson, and Justin Bour here. I wish there were better bats to target against Weaver, but if he's going to be chalky again, I'm going to be under the field, as I almost always am. It's not going to shock me if he pitches well, but I think there's too many people on him once again.
Yeah, he bounces around from like good to bad to good to bad. Because if you get the Weaver that played on July 5th against the Giants and he goes 8 innings with 7 Ks and 2 hits, like that is a lethal outcome for a guy that's 7,200. Or you get this Colorado game where he goes 2 2/3, faces 15 batters, and you're just like, all right, what's happening here? Super inconsistent. So I guess what I would say is don't use Luke Weaver in cash.
He's just never priced up too, so that's what's so attractive about him. Yeah. Like if he was 8,500 here, he'd probably be 8% owned.
Right. And that's again, that's like part of the reason why I go back to this well, because at 7,200, like it doesn't totally kill you. I mean, you want him to be okay, but like the floor is so low. You don't need that much from him to just be like, okay, I can still be fine here. Whereas he could have a huge day and it wouldn't be like super surprising. He does have that stuff sometimes. I don't know. I might as well just order the Luke Weaver jersey shirt right now, but I'd be more likely to do that if the RotoWire news here from August 3rd wasn't Weaver will remain in the starting rotation despite his inconsistency. I think by the time I would buy that thing, if he had a bad start today, he might already get shipped down.
Right? Yeah. So that's not enough. I mean, you can look at that one of two ways. You can say, oh, he might get pulled from the rotation. He's going to try harder and pitch better. Or you could say he's just going to crumble and have another terrible start. Like it could go either way. So it's basically however you want to make a slant to that news. But
I'll say this much. There's no way he should get sent down or not be in the rotation. Even his inconsistency, he's still been a league average pitcher in the aggregate. Worth a win and a half and above replacement. Like, it would be silly for him to be anywhere other than the starting rotation. It's just,
I mean, if John Gray can get sent down, then the guy with the lowest xFIP, one of the lowest xFIPs in the league, got sent down for a couple starts, then Weaver certainly can. It's like these coaches don't look at anything besides like batting average against or something like that.
They're using the stats from that gentleman who thinks that never getting a hit against the Mets means you'll never get a hit against the Mets. 150
batting average, right?
Okay, so any thoughts on Wei and Chen then?
He's been okay, and he's another one who's always priced down here, 4,300. You're a starter. You're in a good park. He pitches better at home. The home park suits him better because he gives up a lot of fly balls, and those don't tend to get out in Miami. If the roof is closed, I like it even better. But yeah, he's certainly in play on my radar for 4,300, even though I don't expect him to light the world on fire with strikeouts or anything. There's also another guy I like down here, but if you need to go even cheaper, Chen is about as cheap as you can go, and he is still viable, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I see why he's 11%. I got 15. It's again at 4,300, like worth a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of swing and miss in that Cardinals lineup. Tyler O'Neill, Paul DeJong, Harrison Bader. Those guys K a lot. I know they're getting righty-lefty matchups, but I think that Chen is worth a flyer to allow you to spend up for some additional bats if you need to.
Yeah, agreed.
Speaking of bats, Cardinals. Number 6 stack, rather, on FanDuel. Number 3 on DK. I'm like double the field on FanDuel and triple the field on DraftKings. So I'm just all over this game in like weird ways. What do you think about the Cardinals here? Because I think the middle of their order looks pretty tasty.
Yeah, the few guys I like are Yachty. Anytime he's against the lefty. Same thing with DeJong, just too cheap for 3,900. And then Jose Martinez for 4K. There are enough righty bats in there where you could see Chen giving up hard contact and they just start batting around. So that's a little bit worrisome for Chen's outlook and good for the Cardinals. Big run total in a big park is telling what Vegas thinks of Chen and the Marlins bullpen. So even if they don't crush Chen, they could still crush this bullpen. I'm pretty sure they have one of the lowest or the highest xFIPs over the last month for any bullpen in the MLB.
There you go. Yeah, so I get a lot of Molina. He's probably one of the better catcher options today. Tons of DeJong, tons of Ozuna. Martinez, I've got 11%. We're only projecting 1, which is crazy to me.
Cool.
Yeah, we're only projecting 1 on FanDuel, and I've got 18. And he's cheap as shit on FanDuel. It's 2,700.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jose Martinez as a hitter. So against Chen's going to let him put the ball in play. Or at least he's got a really good chance to. So I like that a lot.
John in chat saying O'Neill is possibly going on the DL.
Oh, really?
Let's see what we got here. Could require a DL stint. What happened to him? What is wrong with him? Groin, yeah.
Ouch.
Josh, don't do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to have a lot of Cardinals for sure. Have to.
Another disappointing Cardinal spot, I'm sure.
Yeah. And Matt Carpenter is crazy expensive. Still paid up for that heater from 2 weeks ago.
Lefty too.
Yeah.
Chen's really good against lefties. I don't like that very much at all.
Samesies. Well, I hate when I say that. It's so natural, but I hate it. I'm the worst. It's a weird Monday. Weird Monday. Anything else in this game interesting to you?
No, not really. I think I like some bats on both sides. It's not going to be like my heaviest exposure game, but can kind of make a case for Chen, Cardinals bats, and Marlins bats. And I'm just going to be underweight, if any, Weaver at all for me.
Okay, sounds good. Moving on. Reds and Mets. This will be fun. Reds, 3.4 run implied total. Mets, 4.2. The 60% chance to win for the Mets. Homer Bailey going for Cincinnati. Noah Syndergaard going for New York. Syndergaard right now the chalk pitcher. Well, the semi-chalk pitcher of the day. The chalk pay-up option of the day is the best way to say it. 33% on DK, 21% on FanDuel. I am above the field on DraftKings right now. For me, Syndergaard is the clear option to use today. Similar ceiling as Bauer and Morton, but none of the price tag. So I'm loading up on Syndergaard. I can't imagine going a different direction here, and unless the Reds make a couple waiver wire trades and pick up some bats that they're not going after. I'm not scared of the Reds. I want all of the Noah. The floor is yours for Homer Bailey, though.
Yeah, well, so I agree that Syndergaard is just underpriced. We've seen pitchers recently have good performances against the Reds, even though their season numbers don't look great for strikeouts. Syndergaard could certainly do that here, and you get a discount on him for whatever reason. He could go up to 100 pitches, it looks like, based on his last outing through 91. He's looked fine to me. Hasn't missed enough, like a ton of bats for me to just want to lock him in, but he's a fine option at that price. Just too much talent. And then Bailey, I wrote up in the spotlight pitchers. Those last couple starts, he's looked really good. I think a 9 and a 14% swinging strike rate in those last two, and he's just a good punt. I think in a good park against a bad team, he's done well against bad teams like the Tigers. Kind of dominated them last time out. And what I've seen is when Bailey is able to throw first pitch strikes and get ahead in the count, he's been able to just mow down these bad teams. He's done it the last couple starts. I expect him to do it here because the Mets have the highest first pitch strike rate of any team over the last month. And that's just a really good matchup for him. Maybe not for strikeouts, but just for his prospects as far as going deep into the game. So I'm on Homer Bailey. Yeah, it's 2018, and I'm playing Homer Bailey. But this is where we're at, 5,500. The slate kind of calls for it.
Yeah, so I got 6% Bailey, so I'm right there with the field. I don't imagine going much higher than that unless this line pinches a little bit closer to lock. I used to be a big-time Homer Bailey fan. I got to watch myself. The last name of that pitcher is also the name of my father-in-law's dog, which is sitting next to me, and every time I say it, the dog's like tilting its head and looking at me. So I'm just going to refer to him as Homer for the rest of the time so the dog stops staring at me. Yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of it. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Mets aren't good.
Yeah.
Although, I feel like they should be better. They're just not, and I can't really figure that out. But this game's all pitching for me. I don't really want a ton of hitting, except for on FanDuel, where the Mets are oddly cheap. So, like, I'm getting incredible amounts of Joey Bats because he's only 2,300 and he's slotted into the 2-hole. It's just a bargain you can't get away from.
Mm-hmm.
I like Conforto, Wilmer Flores, Todd Frazier because they're just crazy cheap. You could do 2 outfielders, a first baseman, and a third baseman, and basically spend no money. I don't love the idea of having that much Mets, but I think that I'm going to have a little bit of that 4-man package. Nimmo is fine as well, so sort of just working those first 5 guys in. I think that'll change by the time we get closer to lock, but I don't know. They're my 7th stack on FanDuel, and I didn't see that coming. They are a little chalky, though. We're projecting 7% aggregate ownership there. I've got 9, but that's a decent amount on a 10-game slate.
Yeah, the one guy that I like in this game is Jose Peraza, actually, leading off. Just because if he gets on against Syndergaard, he should be able to steal, or at least he's going to attempt to steal, because Syndergaard is one of the worst pitchers in all of the MLB at holding runners. So 17 stolen bases for Peraza this year. That's about it. And then maybe Suarez. You're getting a discount on all these Reds, but I'm not going crazy with stacks. It's mostly just going to be Peraza for me.
Same page there. Hey, T. McBee, I didn't notice the "What up, my glip glops" line on your way in, but I like it. Rick and Morty for you, Jake, just in case you're not aware.
I don't even know what that means.
Cartoon. You should watch it.
Yeah, never heard of it.
You should watch it. It's good. I was not a believer. I just started watching it like since we've been doing this. Yeah, I don't know. Uneventful game outside of Syndergaard, in my opinion, and then a little bit of Bailey.
Yep.
Moving on to the Jakes. Jakes 3.3 run implied total. Indians 4.8. 65% chance to win for the Indians. Kyle Gibson going for Minnesota. Trevor Bauer going for Cleveland. This one's not for me. We've got Bauer projected for 22% ownership on DK, 20 on FanDuel. I have single digits on both sites, so I am miles away from the field here. I also don't really like the bats. I have almost no Indians. We're projecting them to have a little bit of ownership. So, I guess talk to me about Bauer. He's usually a dude that you're on, and I feel like you'll probably be more near that 22% number, but I just don't feel like today is the day where I want to spend 12-3 on Trevor Bauer.
I like him here. It is concerning that he just faced the Twins in his last start. Only a 7.8% swinging strike rate. Chase rate, one of the lowest of the season for him. Maybe the lowest rate he's had all year. So I don't know what was going on in that start. His velocity looks fine. It was actually up in that start. So I don't know if he was just like pumped up and trying to throw too hard or what's going on. But only had 3 strikeouts, went 6 into 30, threw 100 pitches. I'm not concerned about him. If you look at this lineup, he should be able to just mow it down for the most part. You got Sano in there. Cave strikes out. Bobby Wilson is one of the worst hitters in the MLB. Jorge Polanco, you can strike out too. So I think there is a path for a really good game for Bauer. So I'll have a ton of him. Not a ton of him. I'll have over the field on him just because I believe in him as a pitcher. And I think he's one of the safest options. He's got 30-point upside, I believe. So I'm on him here, not like lock buttoning him like I have at times this year, okay. But he'll be one of my higher exposed pitchers for sure.
Yeah, so for me, I only have Bauer a half point ahead of Syndergaard. So it's really hard for me to get to 12-3 if I can get the same guy for 9-6, or like at least what appears to be the same guy for 9-6. Right. I assume we're both not touching Gibson though.
No, just too tough. I I wish I could, but at 8-6, you're not even getting a discount on him. So
All right.
yeah, I'm good.
So Indians are above the average in aggregate ownership on DK. They're average on FanDuel. I don't love it though. They're really expensive. I get a little bit of the first couple guys just because talent wins out sometimes, but I don't
Mhm.
see this as a stack that I want to pay up for. Am I missing something here?
No, I think the first few guys, first three for me, but honestly, I'm just not wild about any of these Indians. He's shown he's been good this whole year.
Right.
Like he's been good at limiting damage, hasn't gotten blown up much at all. It's a tough spot in Cleveland, but I think the way you play Gibson is to just fade Cleveland bats or go underweight on them, and that's what I'm going to be doing out of respect for Gibson.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page there. Like I'm underweight on everybody. I've been pretty heavy on Brantley lately, and at 4,200 hitting second lefty righty, like he's a guy that I like in this individual matchup, but I don't need to pay 5,300 for Lindor or 5,700 for Jose Ramirez in this spot.
Yeah.
Could they go off? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is an elite level top of the order, but I don't think they're worth the price today, especially when you don't really need them.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you. I mean, if they end up in a couple lineups, like Lindor and Ramirez especially, and Brantley too now, they always come up as one-offs for me if I do like a 4-3-1, just because they project so highly regardless of who's pitching, if it's a righty. So they'll come up a little bit for me, but the rest of them, like I'm not looking to play Melky or Jason Kipnis or Roberto Perez or Leonis Martin.
Same. Yeah, unless this line grows, like weather starts being crazy or something, Indians aren't going to be my spot. Filler on DK mostly. I essentially don't have them on FanDuel. I just don't see the value. Sea of red on my screen here. Speaking of my screen, am I sharing? Nope.
Are you not?
No, because I'm the worst.
Come on, Josh.
Look, man, not off to the best start on this Monday. I'm going stir crazy here. The wife's been gone for a couple days. I'm losing my mind. I'm taking care of this damn dog. At least the big one's at doggy daycare today. He's the one that's always up in my shit. Aaron D. Empty house pizza bite night was so spectacular that I ran it back on Saturday. Lots of pizza involved when the wife is out of town.
Goodness.
And look, since we're talking food, quick pause here to talk about Shark's tweet. You and that garbage Chicago-style hot dog. There were so many things better on that menu. I honestly think that of everything that I saw, the Chicago dog would have been last.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is egregious.
I said it.
No, I didn't even look. What else do you have to look at when there's a Chicago dog on the menu?
I know, right? Like, you got to look at everything then, because you're just going to scrap everything
No,
you
you
said. Where's it at?
You just lock in the Chicago style hot dog, and that's it.
So I'm in, granted, different price point, but I think the sausage platter looks great. That's 30 bones, so you got to avoid that. House-made bratwurst. I think the jalapeno cheddar house-made sausage above has to be incredible. I don't want to put pico on a hot dog, so that Southwest one looks weird. Really, the only one that I want to eat out of anything that's on there is the chili dog. So.
I mean, I'll eat the chili dog, but if we're going to like a Portillo's, then you're just getting a Chicago style hot dog. This isn't a Portillo's menu, right? Unless it's one I've never seen.
No, I have no idea. Just in general. I want that house-made jalapeno cheddar brat. That's
right.
the star.
Giancarlo, I'm with you. What is it? The chili dog?
No, the jalapeno cheddar brat. That's the star of the show right there.
Okay. Disagree, but you're entitled to your opinion, I suppose.
Fair enough. Exactly. $13 for a hot dog is ridiculous. Mariners and Rangers. Time to talk chalk. Kind of. 5.6 run implied total for the Mariners, 5.1 for the Rangers. It's a 54% chance to win for the Mariners. Wade LeBlanc going for Seattle. Martin Perez, not Bartolo Colon for the people that were yelling at me in the comment section of the YouTube video, going for Texas. So pitching is a no-go here. I didn't expect to see this, but here we are. Price is going to get you there. The Mariners, number 1 stack for me on FanDuel, number 4 on DK. I'm still matching the field and exposure on both sites. These guys are crazy owned today, and I love it. Perez is garbage, and the price point on the Mariners is phenomenal. Now, the Rangers, on the other hand, pretty chalky, 7% on both sites. That's above the average. I'm not getting Texas at all. So, talk to me about this game from a hitting. You're not on LeBlanc or Perez, right?
I can make a case for LeBlanc. I don't know how much I'll actually need of him. So, he'll still be in my player pool. Martin Perez will not be. Perez is like the complete opposite of a pitcher that I'll play in DFS. So he's cheap, yeah, but you're going up against a team. It's a bad strikeout matchup. He doesn't get strikeouts at all. It gives up a ton of hard contact. And it just looks like every time he pitches, he's going to get crushed by any sort of even league average righty. So you've got Haniger and Cruz in there, who I love. Healy, Zunino. I'll even play some Cameron Maben, like Segura up top. I didn't even mention.
Yeah.
It's just a really good team for a pitcher like Martin Perez. They should just tee off on him. Unless he's just got his best stuff and he's creating ground balls and getting double plays, which fine, but I'm gonna have a ton of Mariners.
Yeah, I did not expect them to be so chalky when I started loading everything up for the night shift last night. But oh my god, FanDuel is it's crazy how cheap they are. D Gordon I know it's lefty, but D Gordon leading off 2,700. Segura as a shortstop for 3,100. I'm not getting an overwhelming amount of Haniger because Cruz grades out so well for me, but even Cruz is sub 4,000 on FanDuel in a righty-lefty matchup in a bandbox.
Yeah.
This game could get ugly real quick. I like the idea of having Kyle Seager, especially on FanDuel. I think, I was hoping that the lefty would keep his ownership down, but he's still 17%. You just can't really go wrong. They're so cheap.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing.
So what do you think about Texas? Because I'm not getting there.
LeBlanc, I think, he's been good. And this Rangers team, talk about some swing and miss all over the place, especially against lefties. Anderson and Beltre haven't even been hitting lefties that well this year. And those have been their 2 guys the last few years that can. Profar is probably my favorite on the Rangers. But I'm just seeing a lot of lefty in this projected lineup, and that's good news for LeBlanc.
Yeah.
He's coming off a rough start against the Astros, but before that, he was pitching really, really well in some tough environments like Coors, against the Angels. So I don't know if I necessarily need to play LeBlanc tonight, just because I've got Homer Bailey and Chen if I just want to go super cheap and punt. But he is somewhat interesting, and then I don't like the Rangers bats really at all, besides Profar.
I have 0% on FanDuel. I got Adrian Beltre in 1 line, and then I've got 1 line of Rangers on DK and a couple one-offs of Beltre. Beltre is the only guy that's grading out well for me. Only 4,000 on DK, righty-lefty, third base option, high run total. But yeah, I mean, this DraftKings stack is looking like it's 8 to 9% on all of the main guys,
yeah.
And I'm just not going to be there. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it's just not a good team too. I want to play good teams, Yeah. It seems like I know which nights I'm going to profit, or I feel good about which nights I'm going to profit based on, if everyone else is playing Rangers and Orioles chalk, and I'm just hoping one of these teams goes nuts for 12 runs that are good, I feel much better about that than playing 20% Rangers, which is, you're not going to see 20% today, I don't think, but over the weekend, I wish I would have gotten more volume in because there were some egregious ownerships.
Yeah, I wish I would have had a little bit more volume yesterday, too. Thanks for the kind words, Lamar. I did not take down anything else, just the quarter jukebox yesterday.
You cannot run on Perez. He's really good at preventing steals.
There you go.
I mean, you can run on him. Like Gordon and Segura have the speed, but I don't know if they're going to try to, especially not with Cruz and Haniger behind you.
Yeah, really. Don't waste it.
Run yourself into some outs.
Yeah. One thing if you're playing in Petco, it's a different case if you're playing in Texas and the weather is, what do we got? 97 degrees.
98, yeah. And
So,
don't pay attention to that wind that's blowing in. That's not going to matter.
No, not at all.
It does not matter in that part.
Alrighty. Moving on to the Yanks. Yankees and White Sox. Yankees 5.6 run implied total. White Sox 4.1. It's a 64% chance to win for the Yanks. Lance Lynn going for New York. Dylan Covey going for Chicago. I'm a Lance Lynn believer here. 13% ownership on DraftKings. I've got 25. I don't want any part of Dylan Covey here. So, are you looking at Lance Lynn at all? Because I think he's in a really nice spot as a mid-tier value guy. And I assume, since you're not the biggest Weaver fan, Lynn would be an excellent pivot.
Yeah, I think as a pivot, Lynn makes a decent amount of sense here. Just like about half the ownership, which I'm comfortable with. I don't love playing Yankees pitchers right now besides Tanaka and maybe Severino if he can get his act together, just because they don't really have long leashes. Like they were talking on the broadcast yesterday, the Yankees throw, like their starters throw the least innings out of any team besides Tampa, but that's a completely different scenario. And it makes sense when you've got that powerful of a bullpen. So 7,100 looks like a good price. If I thought he could go like 6 or 7, I would be higher on Lynn, but I could just see him if he gets in trouble in like the 5th and he's at 75 pitches, like he's getting pulled. They just have no reason to mess around with league average starters when they've got a sick bullpen. So that's more of like a real baseball reason than DFS reason why I'm not crazy about Lynn, but it is a good matchup. If he's cruising, he could get you 20 DK points. I'm just a little worried about the upside.
No, I think that's a reasonable stance to take. The Yankees do have that quick trigger. I didn't know if you were mad at Lance Lynn for some reason, and that's why you got rid of him from the Minnesota Jakes. So I was just making sure that you didn't have like, he owed you money from a gambling thing or like slept with your girl or something. It's not personal for Lance Lynn. Just checking.
I don't know. He might have done the latter. I would have no way of knowing, but no, as far as money, we're all squared away.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I didn't want him to leave on a sour note.
No.
So bats here. Do we call it a stack, or is it really just there's a couple guys that are amazing? Like
for the Yankees?
Yeah. Like I've got so much Stanton, it's ridiculous. 33% on FanDuel, 33% on DK. He's slamming into my hitter cap. He's like the ultimate amazing one-off, especially in Chicago against a shitty starter. Like Stanton's one of my favorite plays, if not my favorite play of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I love Stanton against lefties. I think I like Hicks a little bit more than Stanton, but they're right up there for me.
Really?
Because Hicks has the platoon split. It's not like Covey can miss bats against either side. But Covey doesn't just get blasted. Like he does create some soft contact, like against righties especially. So I don't know. It's just a preference thing. They're the same price, and I think Hicks is going to be lower owned.
Hicks is 4% on DK. Stanton's 21.
Yeah, so
I get that then.
Yeah, just like as a GPP play, but I love Gleyber Torres, Andujar, Greg Bird down that lineup. I'm not crazy about Gardner and Gregorius. They never pop up for me. Like they're good hitters, but they just seem perpetually overpriced for just how good of hitters they are. And it's a small park. Gregorius can get it out of here. But yeah, just not a good starting pitcher. I don't think Covey's good at all. So Yankees stack here for me.
I got a decent amount of Gardner. Gregorius pops up basically just because he plays short. If he played a different position, I feel like I would never get him. But because he's a shortstop, it just sort of opens things up. 9% aggregate ownership on both sites is what we're projecting. I am over the field on both. I will happily have a ton of the Yankees here. I just like stacking against the White Sox. And I like playing pitchers against the White Sox. They are a very poor team for DFS perspective.
What about Lance Lynn? Hitters against Lance Lynn. I'm assuming you like Moncada.
I got nothing on either.
Oh, really?
On either site. 0.
Yeah. Man, if the Yankees didn't have that sick of a bullpen, I would be on a White Sox stack here just because they've got enough lefties in that lineup, like Delmonico, Polka. I love in this spot as a one-off. I think he could get Lynn for a homer. Same with Moncada, and they're just cheap enough. But like even if they get to Lynn early, they're just going to get shut down by that bullpen. So
yeah,
it just makes it tough to want to stack against them. I'm more just one-offs with Polka and Moncada.
I like Polka as a one-off on FanDuel. Looks pretty good. Only 2,900. That's the kind of guy that can, double dong pretty easily and swing in GPP.
He's huge too. Have you seen him? He's a beast.
Yeah. Just a massive human being. Honestly, He's a little scary.
I wouldn't want to pitch against him.
No. He looks like the guy that I don't know if like you had it too, or like growing up in Little League, there was always a guy that was like bigger than everybody else and terrifying to like even just come up. You knew that you just knew that he had crazy power. And he reminds me of a dude that I like played in my Little League who hit lefty and just we had like this mountain wouldn't be the right word for it, but like a really, really big hill in right field. And he hit one to the top of that hill when we were playing. We're like, I don't think I could do that if I hit it first, went and got it, and then hit it again.
Honestly.
Anyway, so
big man.
I like the Yankees.
Yeah.
Go Lance Lynn. So much Lance Lynn and Weaver at the $7,100 and $7,200 spot. I've got this is perfect. I've got a crisp 69% of those guys.
Nice.
There you go. I was waiting for it. Moving on. Cubs and Royals. Cubs, 5.3 run implied total. Royals, 3.8. 65% chance to win for the Cubs. Cole Hamels going for Chicago. Jake Junis going for Kansas City. It's a Hamels day for me, man. I love him. 19% ownership on DraftKings, 10% on FanDuel. I am more than double on FanDuel, and I've got 10% more on DK. I absolutely love Hamels in this spot. Big time favorite. Moving to the NL doesn't really matter here. It's an AL hosted game, so never mind that strategy that I was going with. But anyway, he moved to the NL, not that it matters. What do you think about Hamels? Because I think he's probably the second best option of the day.
I'm on him for sure.
Nice.
He looked really good to me last time against Pittsburgh, and like the strikeout numbers look good. He had 9, I believe, in 5 innings, which like that was good. It should have been more than that. He was getting squeezed. I was watching that game just because I wanted to see how he looked in his debut. He looked awesome. Just missing bats all around, and then my eyes weren't lying to me. He had a 13% swinging strike rate, almost 14%. Was getting ahead in the count. I expect him to do that here, and he can put away all these guys. I think he might have trouble with Merrifield off the top and Salvador Perez to some extent, but the bottom of that lineup is pretty terrible. And then the Royals are striking out among the league lead against lefties over the last month or so. And even for the season, they're up to 5th on the season against lefties this year. Like, they're just a bad team. 28% over the last month. Give me some Cole Hamels here.
Totally agree. Shark, I have 12 of my 150 lines on DK are Weaver Lynn. FYI, which
Shark, all the ones that aren't Lynn Weaver are Weaver Lynn.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I'm happy with that number. Yeah, look, Hamels is in a really good spot here. I expect him to roll. This is another situation where he's a little bit behind Syndergaard, but I have Hamels with a similar ceiling to like Syndergaard and Morton, even Bauer to an extent, 21% chance of being a top 2 scoring pitcher. Again, it's just a price point. He's got a much better chance of being a top value as well. So that's why I'm getting to so much Hamels and Syndergaard and not all the way up to Bauer. Although I don't see today as a day where like you really need to spend up to bats, so might adjust a little bit closer to lock. We'll find out at 6 o'clock when we go live. Cubs bats. 5th stack for me on FanDuel, 7th for me on DK. They are chalky. They are the number 2 ranked stack on FanDuel and same on DK from expected ownership. So I'm right there with the field. How are you feeling about the Cubs? It's a really nice implied total, at least as of right now.
Yeah, very good implied total. Good weather, 90 degrees in Kansas City mitigates the big park. And then just a handful of good hitters against a pitcher that gives up a lot of hard hits. Junis against righties, against lefties. It doesn't matter. I prefer lefties against Junis because he strikes them out quite a bit less. But over 40% hard contact to both sides. XFIP is way up. Like, I love Schwarber and Happ down there at 6 and 7. I don't know why Almora would be in the 5th spot, but
yeah, I don't love
Joe
that.
Madden. I just don't get it. Like, he hits lefties so much better. I get that you have to play him here for whatever reason, but
he's not a natural 5-hole hitter. Let's just put it that way.
No, he's not. He needs to be. They need to move Schwarber, Happ, Contreras up, and Almora down to 8 or 9. But Rizzo, I think, is one of the best plays on the entire day. Maybe a Dom call later tonight.
Ooh.
I love targeting against Junis, so I'm pretty excited to play my Cubs.
Rizzo's 4th in my model right now.
Yeah, Junis gives it up, so I'm in for some Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, we're projecting 11% ownership. I've got 30. How could you not? Lefty, righty, lead off, like that.
Yeah.
5.3 run implied total. That is the epitome of what you're looking for.
Yep, doesn't strike out.
Nope. I mean, his floor is probably higher than any other hitter on the board today, right?
I mean, I would think so. He's either going to make hard outs, get walked, or hopefully hit extra base hits.
Yeah, that's the plan at least. Yeah, I'm gonna be loading up on the Cubs. There's nobody that I really like just outwardly hate. I think Contreras is overpriced on DK, but again, if you're stacking up the Cubs, bring your catcher along with you. It's always, in my opinion, it's always better to have the catcher as part of a stack. I'm underweight on Schwarber. I hope he moves up in the lineup. He's just hard to get to for 4,400 if he's hitting 6th, but I mean, he has the opportunity to change the game with one swing. Another monster human being in a bit different way.
He slimmed down.
Yeah.
He slimmed down. Did you see him? Opening day, I barely recognized him.
Well, he's still like big.
Oh, he's
beefy, just not
but
as big as he was.
Yeah, he was huge
he needed
last
to,
year.
Too.
It's good for his knee.
Yeah.
Hurt that knee a couple years ago.
Massive man.
This is an incredible Whit Merrifield spot. I forgot about how bad Hamels is at holding runners. So if Merrifield gets on, and he's done that a ton, and you just look at how often he's trying to steal and how many times he's actually successfully stealing bases, he just looks like this is about as good of a matchup as you can get for Merrifield. So that's why he's priced up near 5K on DraftKings. I have no problem with him as a one-off if you're not playing Hamels.
Sorry, responding to...
yeah, are you reading that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Hey, guys. If you're interested and you're sitting here on YouTube watching this, don't be afraid to like this stream. It wouldn't hurt. Also, if you're looking to get the night shift and you're thinking, why can't I listen to this somewhere else? I don't want to listen to it on YouTube. You're in luck. We have an iTunes stream. So if you search for awesomeo.com on iTunes, you will find our podcast. I assume Jake is about to drop the podcast link into the chat. For some reason, he has that readily available always. So
always got iTunes up because my phone's always plugged in, so it pops up.
Yeah, you crazy Mac people. I don't use iTunes, so subscribe.
21st century. Let's go.
Yeah. You mean 20th century? That would be the time where I would use iTunes. I use Overcast because I really love the two features that are on this. And we're taking a side note here. So I use Overcast to play my podcast. You can subscribe the exact same way. I am subscribed to our podcast feed in Overcast. However, they have two features that I love. One is available in most things, which is just simply speeding up the rate that you listen to the podcast. But two, let me play it so I make sure I'm calling it the right thing. In the settings for each show, they have a thing called Smart Speed. So it'll trim out all of like the silence points in between people talking. So even if you don't want to like speed up the rate that you listen to the podcast, it'll cut like dead air out and, take like 10% off of it. So I've been churning through podcasts lately, listening to it at 1.2 speed along with the Smart Speed. I could listen to an hour podcast in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, I need to start doing that because when it's just like content and it's not like humorous stuff, it's like sometimes you like miss the like humor and stuff with the comedic timing if it's supposed to be funny. But
yeah,
if it's just information, you just want to get it as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
What's that app called again?
I use Overcast.
Overcast. All right.
The Smart Speed one's great just for cutting out like all the. I pause a lot during the night shift or just in general when I talk. So those gaps just immediately go away, and it sounds like I don't have huge pauses in my sentences. But yeah, it's great. I started at 1.1 speed. People like Rachel Nichols listen at like 2x. I don't know how they do that. It's too fast. Unless I don't get it.
You'd have to be like actively listening, like that's like all you're doing, right? Because when I have a podcast on, I'm on my computer almost all the time or driving or something. So it'd be hard for me to do that. But. Yeah,
like that's why I started at 1.1 and then I was able to get to 1.2, and that basically just sounds like someone drank a ton of coffee and ate Adderall in the morning. It's not like it doesn't get all like chipmunky. The next step up, it starts to get a little chipmunky, so I avoid it. Anyway, I digress. Pirates and Rockies. This one I didn't see coming last night, and I'm a little bummed about it. Line changed a little bit. Pirates 5.1 runs, Rockies 5.8. It's a 57% chance to win for the Rockies. Joe Musgrove going for Pittsburgh, Kyle Freeland going for the Rockies. I assumed that the Rockies were, one, going to be a little bit chalkier, and two, I didn't think they were grading out all that well for me. Well, things changed. Rockies, number 2 stack, both sites. I'm just loading up on the bats, except for Carlos Gonzalez. They were in spotlight hitters and stacks, so check that out. I assume we're not going to Musgrove or Freeland. Doesn't strike me as the best spot, but are you looking at pitching here?
If I was, it would be Freeland, but I don't know that I'll need to get to him. I don't mind him in Coors. He's pitched well in Coors. He's pitched well outside of Coors. Just generally underrated and doesn't get blown up at all, really.
Yeah. This is one of the more interesting things that I've seen, and it jives with the ownership projections, but Carlos Gonzalez on FanDuel, 3,400. I've got 27%. We're projecting 11. He's 5,600 on DraftKings, and I didn't get any. That's the biggest gap I think I've ever seen, where I have 27% of a guy on FanDuel and none of him on the other site. Get your pricing together, FanDuel and DK, or at least DK. 5,600 is insane for him right now. Are you liking the Rockies stack today?
Yeah, I like the Rockies a lot against Musgrove. I don't think Musgrove is bad, but I think the lefties should be able to do some damage. Blackman, Cargo, I know he's priced up. Like, that's a ridiculous price, but I even like Para to some extent. And then Arenado and Story, I'll play against anyone. Same with LeMahieu. So those top 6 are super easy for me to get to for different reasons for each of them.
I love Iannetta today.
You like righty for Iannetta?
If the total's 5.8 and I'm stacking these guys up, he's only 3,100.
Right.
So if you can put him in there and get 4 other guys on DK, I think that's like the perfect way to do it.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't like individually. I'm not wild about him, but if you go LeMahieu, Story, knock off second and short, grab Arenado, that's third. Take Blackman, that's 4, and then you finish that off with Iannetta at 3,100. I think that's absolutely perfect. Knowing that, I'm sure he's not catching tonight.
I do like the Rockies a lot, Makata. I've noticed that, at least as of late. I just think people, I mean, in Coors, they're always chalky because they have a 6-run total half the time. But like even outside of Coors, if they get a lefty or like someone's chalky against them, I've been starting to play them more because it's not like they have a bad team. They've got a good top half of the lineup at the very least.
Yeah, and I think the reason that the Rockies at least look so good for me, especially when they face a lefty, is because of LeMahieu, Arenado, and Story.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting quality hitters at second, third, and short.
Yeah.
And when you can do that, it makes everything easier in terms of getting stacks because you can find outfielders anywhere, but you can't always find quality options up the middle or even at third base, where Arenado is one of the better players in baseball. So love the Rockies a lot here. What do you think about the Pirates? I'm loaded up pretty heavily on DK. They're my 5th stack. I'm triple the field right now.
I mean, if they're just going to go completely unowned, which is what we have them right now for the most part, I think Cervelli is a really good one-off. Yeah. I don't mind Freeze against lefties. Like Starlin Marte doesn't really do it for me at 5,300. Doesn't hit lefties that well, at least not this year.
I think I'm on a different page than you then for Marte. I've got 28%, and we're only projecting 3.
Yeah,
he's the dude for me today.
Okay, I mean, he's in Coors against a lefty. Like he's got the platoon split. I don't know if he's just having a rough year hitting lefties or what, but
he's actually not that great against lefties.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So maybe I don't know. Whatever. He's in Coors. He's probably going to see a righty at some point. So at that ownership, you can take a shot on him. Like I don't think it's a bad play. I just think I'd prefer some other guys for 5,300.
I get
and
that.
Then Polanco, lefty, 5,500.
Yeah, I don't have him at all.
Frazier leading off. I don't know.
You haven't even mentioned the guy that I have like the second most, Jose Ozuna.
Yeah. Okay. 3,700. He's got the platoon split.
Dual eligibility too.
Yep.
Helpful.
Even Mercer, I don't mind in the 8 spot, 3,800. A little expensive for him, but
yeah,
hits lefties okay. So there are guys I'll cherry pick here, but I'm not crazy about the stack against Freeland, and I just don't love this lineup how it's constructed.
Yeah, so on DK, I think that this is going to be a relatively popular game stack for me. I'll easily be able to get to Marte because I'll have like LeMahieu, Arenado, Story from the other side. I can use Adam Frazier. He's cheap-ish. Jose Ozuna becomes a really nice option because he has the outfield eligibility. So I'm a big fan of this Rockies-Pirates game. I hope this total stays pretty high, and I hope that exposure for the Pirates stays pretty low. Starling Marte, keep an eye on him. He might just pop up on a quick hits.
All right.
I don't know if
Good to hear.
I don't know if that's true. Let me see. Yeah, he probably will. I had to make sure that he wasn't like not labeled the way that I would have him labeled. A couple more and then we're out of here. Phillies and Diamondbacks. Ooh, okay. Phillies 4-run implied total. Diamondbacks 4.4. The 55% chance to win for the D-backs. Jake Arrieta going for the Phillies. Zach Godley going for Arizona. I expected to have Arrieta. This line moved a little bit overnight. I don't have any Arrieta now, oddly enough. And Godley is just a guy that for some reason, and I don't really know why, he doesn't pop up for me. And I don't even think that his price is bad. Like he misses bats. The run total is perfectly fine. There's some swing and miss in the Phillies lineup. They struck out 26% of the time against righties this season. That's super high. I just don't get to him. We have 18% projected ownership for Godley. I've got 3. I like him so much better in my head than I do on paper. So talk about Godley because I know you like him here.
He looks really good. Like he looks like how he did last year when he was dominant for a couple months stretch. And like swinging strike numbers and all of that. 3 out of 4 games, he's got a 17% or higher swinging strike rate. The chases are way up, like in the 40s almost every game, or near the 40s. And then the Phillies strike out a bunch. Phillies are on the road here. It's a decent hitter's park, whatever you want to make of the humidor. I know there's some debate around the industry of how much that's actually affecting hitting in Arizona, but Phillies striking out over 24% against righties over the last month. And then on the road against a righty this year, for the entire year, 26.4% K rate, which is the highest in the league for any team in that split. Like I said, Godley just looks good. So 8,700 against a team I expect him to miss bats against. I love him here for 8,700.
I get it. Really do. Based on what I'm seeing, I want to look at this quick. Take that ERA off. Single season. Yeah, so this is what I'm looking at right now are Godley's rolling K rate over, let's say 5 games. Probably make that look a little bit better. He had quite the lull there, and now his rolling strikeout rate is just climbing and climbing. Yeah. He's been much different lately in his past like 5 to 10 starts compared to where he was sort of in the mid to early part of the season. I have no qualms with having a bunch of Godley. It's not going to be where I get to because ultimately I'm just going to trust this. And really I'm loading up so much more on Syndergaard and Hamels. But, I mean, if I were like building a lineup by hand and I wasn't looking at this stuff, it wouldn't shock me if I ended up with a lot of Godley.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting a ton of him. He grades out of my model really, really well. He's been one of the best pitchers in the MLB, like the month of July, just as far as getting swings and misses, which I think you have to do to be successful. And he wasn't doing that early in the season. And that's why you saw him struggle or be very, very inconsistent. But the last 5 starts, he's been, for the most part, really, really good in all aspects, like run prevention. He's limiting the walks to some extent. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's more what he was last year than earlier this year. So I'm ready to ride him.
That's funny.
Haha.
Yeah, his swinging strike rate is, I don't know if you can see my screen again still, but just huge climb of his swinging strike rate compared to, where he was for the bulk of the season. So I think he might have turned a corner.
Yeah.
I have no problems with Godley. No bats for me in this game at all. 0. Okay. Both sides.
Did you say you have Arrieta?
I don't. I thought I was going to have him last night on the night shift, but I don't.
He's in the Luke Weaver territory for me where I cannot figure out when he's going to have good starts or you think pitcher's predictable and then you look at some of these game logs and they just don't make sense. Against Miami, went 7 innings, 3 strikeouts. Okay, that's fine. Padres couldn't get any swings and misses, out in 3 1/3. And then the last 2 starts, 6 innings, 6 strikeouts against the Dodgers, 2 earned runs, and then 7 innings, 7 strikeouts against the Red Sox in Fenway.
Yeah.
So it's like I look at the swinging strike rate for those starts and he's below 10. He's not getting a lot of chases or anything. I just don't know how he's doing it, but I'm not on him. I'm on some Arizona bats, Peralta, Goldschmidt, and Pollock. I like quite a bit, but yeah, I wish I could give better analysis for Arrieta, but I just can't really figure him out.
I'll look at his stuff for this year.
It's not even like he was getting ahead in Boston either. 51% first pitch strike rate. I don't know. That start doesn't make sense to me, so I'm just throwing it out.
He's been trending up a little bit in his K rate right now. Swinging strike rate has been meh. So I don't know. He's a guy, I guess. XFIP has been dropping quite a bit though, which I do think is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been playing around with these, as you can tell by me going to this on more than one occasion. I've been playing around with these FanGraphs graphs lately. I think it's really quick to get a nice visual on people.
Yeah, like. All right. Well,
to the Tigers.
Does your connection sound bad?
I don't think so. Why?
Okay, mine does on my end, so must be my Wi-Fi.
Like I sound bad?
I don't know. Yeah, you sound bad to me. So
you've been crystal clear the entire time on my end.
Okay.
Let's say the connection.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit on me, so it's probably
low. Make sure I'm not downloading anything.
All right. They said it sounds fine. All right, we can move on.
Alrighty. Tigers and Angels. Tigers 3.8 run implied total. Angels 4.7. The 59% chance to win for the Angels. Matt Boyd going for Detroit. Nick Tropiano going for the Angels. I thought that Tropiano was going to be like my personal chalk when I was looking at this last night. Turns out he's just the chalk. 37% expected ownership for Tropiano. I've got 23. I'm perfectly fine with that, but oh boy. Let's talk Tropiano here. Are you on board with 37%?
Not really for 37%. I get the appeal, right? Like, it's the Tigers. He's at home. There's strikeouts. He has had some decent games this year. But you just look at like the runs he allows. It's like every start, it's like 4 or 5 earned runs. At least 4 out of the 5 past starts. So it's not like he's pitching great or doing anything super special. This would be a get right spot as far as letting up fewer runs. But 37% is pretty crazy when you can go, in my opinion, just as good of a play, Homer Bailey for 5,500, or just go down to Chen for 1,900 less, right? So it's an ownership thing that I'm going to be off of Tropiano. And when I say off, I mean I'm going to have well below the field. I don't know that I'll have 0 because he does make sense as a play. The problem is I don't know who to leverage him with. Goodrum, Candelario, Castellanos. I mean, do you have any suggestions there?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually over the field on the Tigers right now. This is one of those DK games where I've got it all. So I've got 8% aggregate on the Tigers. We're projecting 6. Jacoby Jones, Castellanos, Goodrum. Basically the first 6 guys I have like a little bit of. John Hicks having catcher eligibility and being 3,100 is a big driver there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind a full stack against Tropiano. I mean,
so
lefties
cheap.
Get, yeah, 29% line drive rate. That's got to be the highest on the slate against lefties for Tropiano. 46% hard contact. When lefties are making contact, and they are a lot, only 19% K rate, they're like lighting up Tropiano. So maybe they're not the greatest lefties, and I don't like targeting what I think are bad hitters, but Goodrum and Candelario do hit righties pretty hard. Same with Castellanos. So if you're full stacking and getting leverage on the field, I think the Tigers are a good way to go.
Yeah, that's sort of where I'm landing here. I think we need to talk about the Angels. I don't know if they're a good stack, but boy, oh boy, do I like 3 of these guys a lot. Have you read Spotlight Hitters?
No, I have not.
Okay. Which 3 hitters do you think I like the most on the Angels today? Without looking at my screen.
Probably Trout, Upton. Is it Fletcher leading off?
It is. You nailed it. Who needs me, man?
Yeah.
You could just be Josh via proxy.
Yeah, Fletcher doesn't look bad to me at all.
If he's leading off. So that's the only reason.
That'd be the... Right. 3,200 leading off is tough to beat.
Yep. So I have those 3 guys in abundance. Like I've got 29% Fletcher, we're projecting 7. I've got 33% Trout, we're projecting 9. I've got 24% Upton, we're projecting 14. All of my ownership is basically those 3 guys and then scrambling the rest of it.
I think that's probably where I would go. I would add in Andrelton Simmons. I just love him because he doesn't strike out ever. He's usually underpriced, under 4K. I like that, especially if you're stacking up the Angels.
Agreed.
You get into any pool holes here?
A little bit. I have 8%. Nothing crazy. The priority for me is just really the Trout, Upton, Fletcher section. Both sites, too. So if, I mentioned it in Spotlight Hitters. If Fletcher's not leading off, I'll basically have no exposure to the Angels. He's the guy that drives that through. Because if he's hitting like 8th or something, or not in the lineup, like him having dual eligibility on DK and being crazy cheap is the reason that you can get to the Angels. Otherwise, it's probably just one-off Trout at 5,800.
Okay. Fair enough.
Finally, Astros and Giants. Astros 4-run implied total. Giants 3.5. It's a 57% chance to win for the Stros. Charlie Morton going for Houston. Derek Rodriguez going for San Francisco. I'm under the field on Morton. We've got 15% on DK. I've got half of that. And we've got 18 on FanDuel. I've basically got half of that. I don't have a problem with Morton here. It's just another one of those things where his price tag is so far removed from Syndergaard that it's hard to pay up any further. Talk to me about Charlie Morton.
He's just a very, very good pitcher in, I think, a good matchup and the best park.
Yeah.
So I think he's somewhat safe and he's discounted. He's got some of the highest upside, I think, in all of the MLB. Just gets a ton of swings and misses when he's on. And I actually hope there's more Giants lefties in here. He's striking out lefties at like a 38% rate this year. I think a little bit over that, actually. Righties, yeah. So he's got, it's like a curveball. I think it's a curveball that he throws, some breaking ball. And he just, like, lefties just cannot hit him. Soft contact is there for Morton. So I'm hoping we see Duggar and Panic in there. And I don't even know who else. Oh, Brandon Crawford. I just think the strikeouts are going to be there, especially for the bottom of this lineup for Morton. Pitcher spot 2. Yeah, I'm really excited about him. I'm going to have more than 15%. And I might have more Morton than Bauer. It's looking like that so far.
Alrighty. I think Morton works as a really nice cash option today. I don't know if I want to pay up in a DK or in the GPPs. But I think his floor is super high in this spot. That park makes it a little bit easier. He needs to have he needs to be like really unlucky with hits for it to be a problem for him.
Or he just doesn't have it. Like that's,
yeah.
I just see him getting 20 here most of the time and upside for 30 plus.
Agreed. You think anything of the Astros stack? They're more of like a secondary group for me right now. The park doesn't help.
I'm not right. Yeah, that's the problem. That park is so tough to want a full stack in. I like Tony Kemp leading off and Reddick in the 2 spot. So those will be 2 guys that'll have decent amounts of. Marwin Gonzalez is cheap enough. I mean, this stack.
What happened to the Astros?
Right. Yeah. Springer, Altuve, Correa. Now all of a sudden it's not that great of a lineup.
It's a bit different when you start with Kemp compared to Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa, Gurriel, and then Gaddis. This is the patchwork Astros lineup.
When Marwin Gonzalez is your 8th hitter, your team is awesome. When he's your 5th hitter, not looking as great. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Are they going to get Correa back? I can't remember. He's coming back at some point, right?
I honestly have no idea.
I can't remember what his injury was.
Every day is a new season for me. He's been out for 20 years.
Oh yeah, he's in his rehab assignment right now. So they're gonna get him back some point soon. I don't know. Springer just has been off the whole season. Who knows?
About that time.
Crunches.
Give me 2.
Wait, I can't see your screen. I think you're frozen.
Okay. Stop sharing now. Share again.
Okay. Yeah.
Try that.
I think it should work. All right, yeah, we're good.
All right, give me 2.
Let's go your boy Weaver
Uh-huh.
and like Hamels. You probably have a bunch of Hamels with Weaver.
I have 16 lines of Hamels Weaver. 1 below Syndergaard Hamels. Alrighty, so there's a 5-man Rocky stack with everything that you could want. 1 off Stanton. I don't necessarily love those that 2-man Tiger stack there, but yeah, okay, this one's a little bit tastier, I guess. Angels, Torres, Stanton, Rizzo.
Looks good.
Not loving the 5-mans here.
Your Cardinals against Wei Yen Chen.
Yeah,
that's a pretty
like
good Cardinals stack. Yeah.
All right, let's look at something that you'll likely have.
Bauer Bailey.
Bauer for sure. What do I have with it that'll make it work? What's Bailey's price? He's in like 50. He's like 50 something, right?
55.
I have a proxy for that. Bauer Tropiano gets you 5-man Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
2-man Seattle, David Fletcher.
Yeah, I don't like the filler parts, but I really like that Cubs stack.
Let's look at my top combinations for team stacks. Number 1, top 2 combo. Rockies with a 2-man Angels. Mariners with a 2-man Pirates.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like these. That one in particular. 5-man Mariners. 1 off Arenado with a Marte and Jose Ozuna. Luke Weaver and Nick Tropiano. That's some Josh Engelman stuff right there.
Yes, it is.
Anything else you want to take a look at here?
No, I think we got enough. Unless someone else wants to see Chen and Thor.
Grab Syndergaard. We'll see how much Chen I have with him. That can't be right. All right, there we go. Wait, is that everything? Yeah. Filters are being weird. Yeah, so you can go Syndergaard, Chen, 5-man Rockies, Nelson Cruz, D. Gordon, Stanton. I like that quite a bit.
Looks good.
Mariners, 5-man Yanks. I like this combo a lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot. All right, FanDuel people. Here you go. All right, FanDuel pitching is a little bit easier to talk about. I can't imagine going up to Bauer, but we can look at it just to see what happens when you do. Oh man, see, this is. I say this every single day. This is why we don't look at this stuff. How's Bauer with 2 4-man stacks of Cubs and Mariners work for you? Because it works pretty well for me.
Fit? Jeez.
Oh, hold on. Somebody mentioned it earlier in the chat. What was the game stack of Rockies Pirates? I guess was tough to fit
on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Let me scroll up and look at that. Yeah, Colorado Pitt game stack is tough. So let's see if I got any of that, and then we can end this. Colorado, Pittsburgh. Did I get any of it?
I don't see any.
T. McBee, you were right.
Yeah.
I didn't get any Colorado Pitt game stacks.
Well, good. They at least got that pricing right.
Yeah. So it's a good eye. It is a tough. It is pretty hard to get to it. Didn't come up at all in any of my lines.
I think I'm going to play FanDuel tonight.
There you go. I'll see you in the quarter arcade. I'll be at the top.
Yeah, I just...
It's not called the quarter arcade. What's it called? The pinch hit?
Yeah, whatever it's called. It's the quarter arcade.
Everything's the quarter arcade when it's a quarter for me in my head. I have no idea why. can get in the $535 pickle.
What is that?
$40 or 40-person single entry tourney. That's where the boss goes. It's out of my league.
Yeah, geez. For hockey, maybe I'll get into that, but
there you go.
No baseball high stakes for this guy just yet.
Alrighty, everybody, that is it. We are done. Like this video if you liked it. Like it if you don't. Keep coming back. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe everywhere. Quick hits will be out early in the afternoon. Live stream tonight. Myself and Chris Spags will go over this 10-game slate. I think that's about it. You got anything else, Jake?
Yeah. No, I was just going to look at that $6 tournament and probably tell you guys not to play that on DK. Yeah, don't play that. Do not play that. That's awful.
Is it
I
bad?
get 100K up top, but don't waste your money.
I didn't look at it. Is it really bad?
100K to first, 25K to second, 10K to third, and then so it is 100K to first, and then seventh place is $1,000.
That is a terrible tournament.
Don't play tournaments like that. Don't support that.
No.
That is awful.
Especially if you're not maxing that.
Exactly. If you're Tom, if you're Alex, yeah, all right, you can afford to play that, and you're gonna hit it at some point. But if $6 is not in your range for 150 lineups, what is that? $900?
Yeah.
$800? I don't know. Don't play that. Don't mess with that tournament.
You can get ninth and not get your money back.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, the payout, Aaron D.
Yeah.
The payout's awful.
Pay out 50,000 there and spread the rest of that shit out. That is a terrible. I wouldn't touch that tournament.
Anytime you see 50% top 10, like 50% of the prize money is going to the top 10, like and it's not like a 100-person tournament. You need to not be in that. If you're trying to build a bankroll, if you've got a ton of money, you just banked a tournament or something for 20K, you want to take a shot, okay, but I still wouldn't do it.
And I desperately want to max this qualifier today. Take a shot at it.
Is it 150 max?
Yeah.
Well, the live final is this week. It's this weekend. I didn't try to qualify this year.
Oh, neither did I.
Yeah, got one for NHL. That was pretty exciting, but told myself I wouldn't waste my money.
Yeah, I had no interest in trying to qualify. But yeah. I have this feeling like if I throw 150 in there, that I'll win. But I won't. Wait.
It's just one ticket.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that they fucking write that up like it's different. Yeah.
So that's so ridiculous.
It's really bad.
3 tickets, and it's yeah.
The crime.
Should be.
Alrighty. That is it, everybody. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We'll be back tomorrow morning to do this once again. Adios, everybody.